The United States imposed sweeping sanctions on Russia's two largest oil companies on Wednesday, targeting Rosneft and Lukoil in the Trump administration's most consequential bid yet to pressure President Vladimir Putin into agreeing to a ceasefire in Ukraine. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announced the sanctions, citing Russia's lack of serious commitment to a peace process to end the war in Ukraine, marking a significant escalation in economic pressure on Moscow. The move comes just one day after the White House confirmed that a planned Trump-Putin summit in Budapest had been indefinitely postponed. The sanctions designate both oil giants and 34 of their Russia-based subsidiaries, effectively blocking all property and interests in property of these companies that are in the United States or controlled by U.S. persons. Rosneft alone accounts for nearly half of all Russian oil production and approximately 6% of global output, while together the two companies export 3.1 million barrels per day. Now is the time to stop the killing and for an immediate ceasefire, Bessent stated. Given President Putin's refusal to end this senseless war, Treasury is sanctioning Russia's two largest oil companies that fund the Kremlin's war machine. The Treasury Secretary warned that the department is prepared to take further action if necessary to support President Trump's effort to end yet another war. The sanctions announcement followed the collapse of diplomatic efforts between Washington and Moscow. Trump had announced plans to meet with Putin within 2 weeks after what he described as a productive call with the Russian leader. However, preparatory talks between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov were postponed, effectively scuttling the summit. The timing coincided with renewed Russian attacks on Ukraine that killed at least 6 people, including 2 children, in overnight drone and missile strikes. Trump has repeatedly expressed frustration with the lack of progress in ending the conflict, which has now lasted over 42 months since Russia's 2022 invasion. The sanctions represent a shift from Trump's previous reluctance to impose additional economic measures on Russia while pursuing peace negotiations. Foreign financial institutions conducting significant transactions with the designated Russian entities now risk being sanctioned themselves.